Admiral Hana Yoon arrived 2 days after the battle ended. Her ship, the Talon, emerged from faster-than-light travel with a fleet of smaller vessels. They were all human ships, dark gray, efficient, built for war, not for show. The station crew lined up in the main hangar bay to greet her. Among them stood the cadets, many still bandaged from the fighting. They watched as the Admiral's transport landed. When Hana Yoon stepped out, the room fell silent. She was not tall. She was not physically imposing. But something about the way she moved made everyone stand straighter. Her presence filled the space like gravity. She was 50 years old but looked younger. Her uniform was simple, with no decorations except one medal on her chest. Those who knew military history recognized it, the Star of Valor, the highest honor the Council could give. She was one of only 3 people who had ever received it. Commander Vorin saluted her. "Admiral, welcome to Station Primara. We were not expecting you so soon." "I came as soon as I heard about the attack," Yoon said. Her voice was calm and clear. "The Dominion is getting bolder. This will not be their last move." She looked at the assembled cadets. Her eyes moved across the different species, then stopped on the humans. A small smile touched her lips. "I hear the cadets performed well during the battle," she said. "Especially the humans," Vorin nodded. "They did, Admiral. Particularly Cadet Kang. His tactics saved many lives." "Cadet Kang," Yoon repeated. She walked toward Jiho. "Step forward." Jiho moved to the front. He stood at attention. Yoon looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. "It is good to see you again, Commander." The room erupted in whispers. "Commander? Not Cadet?" "Admiral," Jiho said respectfully. Vorin looked confused. "Admiral, I do not understand. Kang is registered as a cadet." "No," Yoon said. "Commander Jiho Kang is registered as an instructor on temporary assignment. His cover was necessary to observe how the Academy would respond in a real crisis. The Council wanted to know if our training methods were adequate." She turned to address everyone. "It appears they are not. Traditional tactics failed during this battle. Only unconventional methods succeeded. This needs to change." Deck stepped forward. His voice was confused. "Admiral, I do not understand. If humans are so skilled at warfare, why did you hide it? Why let us think you were weak?" Yoon looked at him. "Because the truth is frightening. Tell me, Cadet Torvin, how long has your species been at war?" "The Kralix had one great war. It lasted 50 years. We defeated the machines that tried to enslave us." 50 years, Yoon repeated. "One war. Humans have been fighting wars for 5,000 years. Not one war, hundreds, thousands. We have never stopped fighting. Ever." She activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air. Ancient battles. Modern warfare. Soldiers from different time periods. We fought with stones, then with bronze, then iron, then steel. We invented gunpowder and used it to kill each other more efficiently. We built flying machines and put weapons on them. We split the atom and turned it into a bomb that could destroy entire cities. The images changed. World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, countless other conflicts. In the 20th century alone, humans killed over 100 million other humans. Not aliens, not monsters, ourselves. We did that to each other. The room was completely silent now. The alien cadet stared at the images with horror. "When the Galactic Council found Earth," Yoon continued, "they were terrified. They thought we would conquer the galaxy. They almost destroyed us as a threat. But then they realized something. We were not mindless killers. We were survivors. We understood war better than any species they had ever met. So they made a deal," Lisa said from the back. She had been quiet until now. Yoon nodded. "Yes. They offered us technology, resources, and a place in the Council. In return, we would protect them quietly, secretly. For 30 years, human soldiers have been stopping conflicts before they start, preventing wars, eliminating threats, all without anyone knowing. But why hide it?" Dex asked again. "Why not tell everyone?" "Because most species in the Council have lived in peace for hundreds of years," Yoon said. "They forgot what real war looks like. They forgot that sometimes to keep peace you need warriors who understand violence. If they knew the truth about humans, they would be afraid. And fear leads to problems." Commander Vorin spoke up. "But the Dominion attacked. The secret is already coming out." "Yes," Yoon said, "which is why I am here. The Council has authorized me to begin training programs. We will teach our methods to all species. guerrilla tactics, psychological warfare, survival techniques, everything humans have learned over 5,000 years of war. She looked at Jiho. Commander Kang will lead the training at this academy. He will teach you how to fight like humans, how to adapt, how to survive. Dex looked at Jiho with new understanding. That is why you let me beat you in the training room. You were testing me, seeing how I fought. Jiho nodded. I needed to see the academy's training methods. The best way to do that was to experience them directly. You let me hurt you. Why? Because sometimes the best way to learn about an enemy is to let them think they have won, Jiho said. Information is more valuable than pride. Dex was quiet for a moment. Then he stepped forward and bowed his head. In Kralix's culture, this was a gesture of deep respect. I was wrong about humans, he said. I thought you were weak. I thought you did not belong here. I apologize. I would be honored to learn from you. Jiho bowed his head in return. There is no need to apologize. You fought well during the battle. You have courage. Now I will teach you strategy to go with that courage. Admiral Yoon watched the exchange with approval. Then she addressed the entire group. The Dominion thinks we are weak. They think the Council has gone soft during centuries of peace. They are partially right, but they do not know about Earth. They do not know what humans can do. She activated another display. This one showed star maps, Dominion territory, Council space, and something else, ships, hundreds of them. All human vessels hidden throughout the galaxy. For 30 years we have been preparing for this, Yoon said. Building ships, training soldiers, creating strategies. The Dominion started a war, but humans will finish it. Mira raised her hand. Admiral, what is our role? What do you need from the Academy? You will become teachers, Yoon said. Every species here has strengths. Kralix are strong. Etherians are wise.
Chitrix are fast.
But none of you know how to truly fight. Commander Kang will teach you, then you will teach others. By the time this war ends, the entire galaxy will fight like humans. And the Dominion? Vorin asked. Yoon's smile was cold. The Dominion picked a fight with the wrong species. They think they are fighting the peaceful council. They do not realize they are fighting the most warlike species in the galaxy. By the time they understand their mistake, it will be too late. She looked at Jiho one more time. Show them everything. Hold nothing back. The time for secrets is over. Yes, ma'am, Jiho said. As Admiral Yoon left the hangar, the cadets remained behind. They looked at each other differently now. The humans were no longer the weak ones. The ones who did not belong, they were warriors. The most experienced warriors in the galaxy. And now they were going to share that knowledge. Jiho turned to face the assembled cadets. His voice was firm but not harsh. Training starts tomorrow morning at 500 hours. Bring your gear. Bring your courage. And be ready to forget everything you think you know about war. I'm going to teach you how to survive. The cadets saluted. Even Dex, especially Dex. The real training was about to begin. The training was brutal. At 500 hours the next morning, Jiho stood in the training hall. Every cadet was there. Kralix, Etherians, Chitrix, Delphinians. Even species who rarely engaged in combat had come to learn. Fighting is not about being strong, Jiho began. It is about being smart. It is about adapting. It is about doing whatever it takes to survive and complete your mission. He activated a holographic display. It showed a simple scenario. 5 soldiers defending a position against 20 attackers. Traditional tactics say you hold your position. You fight bravely. You probably die. He changed the display. Human tactics say you abandon the position. You attack from the side. You make the enemy fight where you want them to fight, not where they want to fight. Dex raised his hand. But that is not honorable. Warriors should face their enemies directly. Honor does not matter if you are dead, Jiho said bluntly. Your enemy does not care about honor. They care about winning, so you need to care about winning more than they do. He began the first exercise. Cadets were divided into small teams. Each team had to move through a training course filled with obstacles and simulated enemies. The traditional way would take 30 minutes and result in heavy casualties. Find another way, Jiho ordered. Use your environment. Think creatively. I do not care if you crawl through ventilation shafts or swim through waste pipes. Get to the end without being seen. The first few teams failed. They tried to be clever but still thought like traditional soldiers. They stayed together. They followed predictable paths. Then Dex's team tried. He had been watching the failures carefully, learning. When his turn came, he split his team into 3 groups. One created a distraction. Another went through the waste pipes like Jiho had suggested. The third climbed along the ceiling supports. They reached the end in 8 minutes with 0 casualties. Jiho nodded with approval. Better. You are learning to think like humans. Proud warriors do not win wars. Smart warriors win wars. Over the following weeks, the training continued. Jiho taught them everything. Ambush tactics, psychological warfare, how to move silently, how to use darkness, how to turn any environment into an advantage. He also taught them about human history. Not just battles, but the philosophy behind them. Humans wrote books about war, he explained one day. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, written 2,500 years ago. It teaches that the best victory is the one where you do not have to fight at all. If you can defeat your enemy through deception, or by avoiding their strengths, that is better than a direct battle. Lisa raised a question. But if humans are so good at avoiding fights, why have you had so many wars? Jiho smiled sadly. Because we are also very good at creating conflicts. That is our tragedy. We understand war so well because we have practiced it on each other for thousands of years. We learned these lessons through blood and suffering. Mira took over some of the tactical training. She specialized in strategy and planning. She taught the cadets how to analyze enemy movements, how to predict what an opponent would do next, how to set traps that the enemy would walk into willingly. Think 3 steps ahead, she said.
Not just what will happen if you do something.
But what will happen after that? And after that, war is like chess. Good players think 1 move ahead. Great players think 5 moves ahead. Commander Voran watched the training sessions with fascination. He had fought in his species' great war against the machines. He thought he understood combat. But what the humans were teaching went far beyond anything he had experienced. One evening, he approached Jiho in private. I need to understand something, Voran said. Your species has so much experience with war, so much knowledge, but you seem sad about it. Why? Jiho looked out at the stars visible through the window. Because we paid a terrible price for this knowledge, he said. Every tactic I teach you, humans learned by dying. Every strategy Mira shows you came from someone's failure that cost lives. We became good at war because we had to. Because the alternative was extinction. But you survived, Voran said. Yes, we survived. And now we can use that knowledge to help others survive. That is why we agreed to the Council's deal. We do not want other species to suffer like we did. If we can protect you with the skills we gained, then maybe all that suffering had a purpose. Voran nodded slowly. I understand now. You are not warriors because you love war. You are warriors because you hate it, and you know that sometimes to prevent war you must be ready for it. Exactly, Jiho said. As the training progressed, something remarkable happened. The cadets from different species began working together in new ways. They combined their natural abilities with human tactics. Kralic strength plus human stealth created devastating ambush teams. Etherian telepathy plus human psychological warfare allowed them to break enemy morale without firing a shot. Chitric speed plus human trap setting made pursuit nearly impossible. The Academy became a laboratory for new combat methods. Species that had never worked together before were now creating joint tactics that were more effective than anything either could do alone. 1 month into the training, Admiral Yoon returned for an inspection. She watched a joint exercise where mixed species teams defended the station against a simulated attack twice as large as the real one they had faced. The teams won in half the time with minimal casualties. After the exercise, Yoon spoke with Jiho privately. You have done well, she said. Better than I expected. These cadets are becoming real warriors. They were always real warriors, Jiho replied. They just needed to learn how to use their potential. Every species here has strengths. I am only teaching them how to maximize those strengths. The Council is pleased. Other academies are requesting human instructors. We are spreading these teachings across the entire military. By the end of the year, every Council soldier will have trained in human tactics. And the Dominion? Jiho asked. Yoon's expression hardened. They are preparing for a major offensive. Intelligence suggests they will attack the Vexus system within 3 months. If they take Vexus, they will control the main trade routes. The Council will lose strategic advantage. What is the plan? We let them come, Yoon said. We appear weak, unprepared. They will commit their forces thinking they can win easily. Then we show them what we have learned. We show them what happens when you teach an entire galaxy to fight like humans. She paused. I want your best students ready for deployment. Mixed teams, human-led. They will be the tip of the spear. Dex Torvin, Jiho said immediately. He was arrogant at first, but he learned faster than anyone. He understands now that strength alone is not enough. He combines Kralix's power with human strategy. Good, who else? Lysa Vor. She sees patterns others miss. Her analytical mind combined with Etherian abilities makes her invaluable for intelligence and planning. Yoon nodded. Mira Choi is already on my list. She is becoming an excellent tactical officer. Anyone else? Jiho named several more cadets. Different species, different abilities. All of them transformed by their training. Form them into a unit, Yoon ordered. Train them together. When the Dominion attacks Vexus, your team will be there, and you will show the galaxy what the new Council military can do. That night, Jiho gathered his selected cadets. He told them about the coming battle, about their role in it. This will be different from training, he said. Real combat. Real danger. Some of us may not come back. If anyone wants to decline, there is no shame in it. No one moved. They all stayed. Dex spoke for all of them. We are ready, Commander. You taught us how to fight. Now let us prove we learned well. Jiho looked at them. These beings from different worlds, different species, united by training and purpose. Then we train harder, he said. We have 3 months to become perfect. 3 months to become unstoppable. Starting tomorrow, we run advanced combat scenarios. No rest, no mercy. When the Dominion comes, we will be ready. The cadets saluted as one. They were no longer students. They were warriors. The first graduates of the new Council military doctrine. And soon the entire galaxy would see what they could do. The attack came without warning. Jiho was in his quarters when the first explosion shook the station. Emergency lights flooded the corridors with red. Alarms screamed. His door burst open and Mira rushed in already wearing combat gear. Dominion ships. Lots of them. They appeared out of nowhere and started firing. The defense systems are not responding. Sabotage, Jiho said. He was already moving, pulling on his own gear. They had someone inside. This was planned. Another explosion. Closer this time. The floor tilted as the station's gravity generators struggled. Commander Vorin is calling all cadets to defensive positions, Mira said. But Jiho, we are not ready. Most of these students have never seen real combat. Then we teach them, Jiho said. Quickly, they ran through the corridors. Other cadets were doing the same, heading to their assigned positions. Some looked scared. Others looked excited. None of them understood what was really happening. In the main assembly area, Commander Vorin was organizing the defense. He assigned cadets to different sections of the station. His voice was calm but firm. Kralix's teams will hold the main corridors. Etherians will work on restoring the defense systems. Chitrix will monitor all entry points. Humans will... He paused. Humans will provide support where needed. Jiho stepped forward. Sir, permission to speak. Voran looked at him. Granted. That will not work. The enemy knows our layout. They planned this attack. They will expect traditional defensive positions. We need to change tactics. What do you suggest, Cadet? There was something in Voran's voice. Not quite respect, but attention. Let me take a team. Small, mobile. We will not defend the corridors. We will hunt the enemy in the maintenance areas, the ventilation shafts, the access tunnels. We will hit them where they do not expect it. Dex laughed. That is coward tactics. We should face the enemy head on. That is the warrior way. The warrior way gets you killed, Jiho said. He looked at Dex without anger or fear. Just stating a fact. I am not asking permission to be brave. I am asking permission to win. The room went silent. No one spoke to Dex like that. The big Kralix looked ready to attack Jiho right there. Commander Vorin raised his hand. Cadet Kang, take your team. Show us what humans can do. But if you fail, the responsibility is yours. Understood, sir. Jiho gathered the 4 other human cadets. Mira was already with him. The others were younger, less experienced, but they had all grown up on Earth. They understood what he was planning. We are not strong like the Kralix, Jiho told them. We are not magical like the Etherians. But we are smart. We are adaptable. And we have 5,000 years of war in our blood. Remember what you learned. Stay quiet, stay hidden, hit fast and disappear. The enemy will not know what hit them. They moved through the maintenance tunnels. Jiho led them through passages that most cadets did not even know existed. He had studied the station layout for months, memorizing every access point, every ventilation shaft, every emergency exit. The sounds of battle echoed through the walls. Energy weapons fired. Metal screamed. Voices shouted in different languages. Then Jiho held up his hand. Stop. Everyone froze. Through a grate in the floor, they could see enemy soldiers below. Dominion forces. 10 of them. They were moving toward the command center where Vorin was coordinating the defense. Jiho made hand signals. The team spread out silently. They opened access hatches around the enemy position. Then they waited, patient, calm. The enemy passed below them. At Jiho's signal, all 5 humans dropped down at once. They struck fast. Energy blast at close range. Hand-to-hand combat. In 15 seconds, it was over. 10 enemy soldiers down. Back up. Move, Jiho ordered. They climbed back into the tunnels and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. Over the next 2 hours, they hit 6 more enemy groups. Each time from a different direction. Each time using different tactics. Ambush from above. Attack from behind. Set traps and wait. The enemy started to panic. They had expected to fight defenders holding positions. Instead, they faced ghosts who struck and vanished. Meanwhile, Dex and his Kralix team held the main corridor. They fought bravely, but they were being pushed back. The enemy had better weapons and more soldiers. Traditional tactics were not working. Dex watched 3 of his teammates go down. They were still alive but wounded. He roared in frustration and charged forward, trying to break through the enemy line. Then something strange happened. The enemy soldiers at the back of their formation started falling. Not from Dex's attack, but from behind. Someone was hitting them from the rear. Jiho and his team emerged from a side passage. They fired into the enemy ranks, then disappeared again before the Dominion forces could respond. The enemy formation broke. Caught between Dex in front and Jiho behind, they retreated. Dex stood breathing hard, covered in minor wounds. He stared at Jiho. You saved us, Dex said. It was not a question. We helped, Jiho replied. Your team fought well. But fighting well is not enough. You have to fight smart. Another explosion rocked the station, bigger than before. The walls shook. They are going after the reactor, Mira said. She was checking a portable display. If they destroy that, the whole station loses power. We will all die. How many enemy soldiers? Jiho asked. 20. Maybe more. And they have heavy weapons. Dex looked at his wounded team. We cannot stop that many. Not like this. We can, Jiho said. He was already moving. But we do it my way. No charges. No direct assault. We be smart. Dex hesitated only a moment. Then he nodded. Show me. Jiho led them through the tunnels toward the reactor level. As they moved, he explained the plan. The Kralix looked confused at first. This was not how they fought. But they listened. They reached the reactor level. 20 enemy soldiers were placing explosives around the reactor core. They had heavy armor and powerful weapons. In a straight fight, they would win easily. But Jiho was not planning a straight fight. He positioned the Kralix on one side, the humans on another. Then he used his communicator to contact Commander Vorin. Sir, we need you to cut power to Sector 12 for exactly 30 seconds. That will leave the reactor exposed, Vorin said. Trust me, sir. 30 seconds, a pause. Then, done, power cut in 10 seconds, Jiho counted down. When the lights went out, the enemy soldiers panicked. They activated emergency lights on their armor. Those lights made them perfect targets in the darkness. The humans, who had trained in darkness their entire lives, struck first. They took out the soldiers with the biggest weapons. Then the Kralix charged from the other side. Caught in the dark, confused, the enemy could not coordinate their defense. 30 seconds later, the power returned. Every enemy soldier was down. The reactor was safe. Dex stood in the center of the room, breathing hard. He looked at Jiho with new eyes. How did you know that would work? Experience, Jiho said. Humans have been fighting in the dark for thousands of years. We know how to use it. You are not just a cadet, are you? Dex asked. It was the first time he had spoken to Jiho with respect. No, Jiho said. I am not. The battle continued for another 6 hours. But something had changed. The cadets fought differently now. They used the tactics Jiho had shown them. They stopped trying to be heroes and started trying to win. When Council reinforcements finally arrived, they found the station still standing. The cadets had held. The enemy had been driven back, and everyone knew who had made the difference. The small human who had once been laughed at, who had lost a training fight in seconds, who had pointed at a classified file and said two simple words, "That is me." The news came 3 days later during breakfast. Every screen in the mess hall suddenly changed from the usual morning reports to a red alert symbol. A voice spoke over the speakers, calm but serious. "Attention all personnel. The Dominion Alliance has attacked 3 border stations in Sector 7. Council forces are responding. All military academies are moving to heightened alert status." This is not a drill. The mess hall exploded with noise. Cadets jumped to their feet. Some looked excited. Others looked scared. The Dominion Alliance was a group of species who had refused to join the Galactic Council. For years they had stayed on their side of space. Now they were attacking. Jiho continued eating his breakfast slowly. Across the table, Mira watched him with concern. "You do not look surprised," she said quietly. "I am not," Jiho replied. He took another bite of food. "This was going to happen eventually. How did you know?" Jiho looked at her. "The same way I know many things: training, experience, pattern recognition." Before Mira could ask more, Commander Vereen entered the hall. His presence made everyone fall silent. "All cadets will report to your training instructors immediately," he announced. "Your schedules are changing. Combat training will increase. History and theory classes will focus on actual warfare, not just ancient battles. The Council believes this conflict may expand. You need to be ready." He paused and looked around the room. His eyes stopped on the human cadets for a moment. Every species in this room had to prove themselves before joining the Council. The Etherians survived an invasion that nearly destroyed their homeworld. The Kralix defeated a robot army that was trying to take over the galaxy. The Chitrix stopped a plague that spread through space itself. Humans, he continued, joined through peace talks. You never faced a trial by fire. Perhaps that was a mistake. Perhaps you should have been tested like everyone else. The words hung in the air. Several alien cadets nodded. They agreed. Humans had joined too easily. Commander Vorin left. The mess hall filled with voices again. But this time there was tension. The alien cadets looked at the humans differently. With doubt. With suspicion. Over the next week, training became harder. The instructors pushed everyone to their limits. Zero-gravity combat drills ran for 6 hours at a time. Tactical simulations became more complex. Sleep time was cut in half. During one simulation, cadets were divided into teams to defend a space station from attackers. Dex led the Kralix team. They used traditional tactics: strong defensive positions, direct counterattacks, overwhelming force. They lost. The simulation enemy was too smart, too fast. They predicted every move. Then it was the human team's turn. Jiho, Mira, and 3 other human cadets faced the same scenario. The other students expected them to lose even faster. Humans were weaker, smaller, less experienced. But something strange happened. The human team did not defend the station like the Kralix had. Instead, they split up. They used maintenance tunnels. They set traps. They attacked from unexpected directions. When the simulation enemy tried to board the station, they found empty corridors and locked doors. Then the humans counterattacked. Not from the front, but from behind. They had circled around through the tunnels and hit the enemy ships from the side. In 12 minutes, the simulation was over. The humans had won. The training hall was silent. Everyone stared at the display screen showing the results. "How did you do that?" asked the instructor, a tall Etherian named Kress. "That was not in any tactical manual." "No, sir," Jiho said. "It is called guerrilla warfare. Ambush tactics. Humans have been using these methods for thousands of years." "Thousands of years?" Kress looked confused. "But your species only joined the Council 30 years ago." "We only joined the Council 30 years ago," Mira said. "We have been fighting wars much longer than that." That night, Lissavor made her move. She waited until the academy was quiet, then snuck into the computer archive room. Her energy form made it easy to slip past sensors. Locks could not stop someone who did not have a solid body. The classified files were protected by heavy security. But Lisa was smart. She had studied computer systems for years. It took her 3 hours, but finally the barriers fell. The file opened. What she saw made her freeze. The screen filled with images, hundreds of them, thousands, battles, weapons, soldiers, all from Earth, all from human history. She saw ancient warriors with swords and shields, medieval armies with bows and arrows, modern soldiers with guns and tanks, and something else, something that made her energy form pulse with shock. Nuclear weapons. Humans had created bombs that could destroy entire cities, and they had used them. Not once, but twice. The files showed wars that lasted for years. Millions of dead. Entire continents turned into battlefields. And through it all, humans kept fighting. They adapted. They learned. They survived. Lisa read deeper. She found military records, special forces units, teams of soldiers who did impossible missions. They would go behind enemy lines with no support. They would survive for weeks in terrible conditions. They would complete their objectives against impossible odds. And then she found the recent files. The ones from after humans joined the council. Secret missions, covert operations, human soldiers working across the galaxy, stopping conflicts before they started, 3 separate wars prevented, dozens of terrorist attacks stopped. All done quietly, all hidden from public knowledge. One name appeared again and again in the most recent files. A name she recognized, Jiho Kang. She pulled up his record. What she saw made no sense. According to this file, Jiho was not a cadet. He was an instructor. A commander. He had been part of Earth's most secret military unit. He had led missions across 5 different star systems. He had personally prevented 2 assassination attempts on council members. He was 22 years old and had more combat experience than most soldiers gained in a lifetime. You found what you were looking for? Lisa spun around. Jiho stood in the doorway. He was not wearing his cadet uniform. Instead, he wore simple black clothes. In the dim light, he looked different, older, more dangerous. How long have you known I was here? Lisa asked. Since you entered the room. I have been waiting outside. Are you going to stop me? Report me? Jiho walked closer. He looked at the screen showing his file. No, I wanted you to find this. Someone needs to know the truth. Why? Why hide all this? Why pretend to be a weak cadet? Because the galaxy is not ready for the truth, Jiho said. Most species here evolved in peace. They had 1 or 2 wars in their entire history. Then they joined together and stopped fighting. They think that is normal. He gestured at the screen. Humans fought wars for 5,000 years. We never stopped. We got better at it. We studied it. We made it into an art. When the council found us, they were terrified. They thought we would conquer everyone. So they made a deal, Lisa said, understanding. They would give you technology and resources. In return, you would protect them. Secretly. Jiho nodded. We are the council's hidden weapon. When there is a threat, they send us. When there is a problem that needs to disappear, they call Earth. And in return, they help our people. Everyone wins, but the Dominion is attacking. The secret is about to come out. Yes, Jiho said quietly. That is why I'm here. The council wanted someone at the academy. Someone who could teach the cadets if war comes. Someone who could show them how to survive. Lisa looked at him with new eyes. This small human who had lost a fight to Dex was actually one of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. What happens now? She asked. Jiho looked at the screens showing the border attacks. Now we wait. The Dominion thinks the council is weak. They think they can win. They are wrong. But they will not understand that until they see it with their own eyes. He turned to leave, then paused. Lisa, I am trusting you with this information. Use it wisely, and when the fighting starts, stay close to the human cadets. We will keep you safe. After he left, Lisa stayed in the archive room for a long time. She kept reading the files, learning about humanity, understanding what they really were. The other species had heroes, great warriors who had done amazing things once or twice in their lives. Humans did not have heroes. They had warriors, millions of them. An entire species that had been forged in fire for thousands of years. And now that species was about to show the galaxy what they could really do. Jiho Kang hit the wall hard. His body bounced off the metal surface and floated in the zero-gravity training room. Blood filled his mouth. He could taste the copper flavor as he tried to shake his head clear. Across from him, the Kralix warrior laughed. The creature stood 8 feet tall with scales like armor covering his body. His name was Dex Torvin, and he was the best fighter in the academy. Right now, he looked at Jiho like a bug he had just stepped on. Is that all humans can do? Dex called out. His voice was deep and loud. I barely touched you. The other cadets watching from behind the safety glass whispered to each other. Jiho could see them through his blurry vision. Some looked sad for him. Others looked away. A few smiled and shook their heads. Commander Thex Vorin stood near the control panel. He was also a Kralix, older and covered in scars from many battles. His face showed no emotion as he watched Jiho struggle to breathe. "Cadet Kang," the commander said, "do you wish to continue?" Jiho wiped the blood from his lip. His ribs hurt. His left arm felt numb. But he pushed himself away from the wall and floated back to the center of the room. He raised his hands again. "Yes, sir," he said quietly. Dex laughed again and rushed forward. The fight was over in seconds. Jiho tried to dodge, but Dex was too fast, too strong. One punch to the stomach sent Jiho spinning through the air. He crashed into the far wall and stayed there, gasping for breath. "Enough," Commander Vorin said. He pressed a button and gravity returned to the room. Jiho fell to the floor with a thud. "Combat evaluation complete. Cadet Torvin, you pass with honors. Cadet Kang, you need more training." The medical team came in and helped Jiho to his feet. He limped out of the training room with their support. Behind him, he could hear Dex talking to the other Kralix cadets. "Humans," Dex said with disgust. "I do not understand why the council let them join. They are so weak, so small. They break so easily." Later that evening, Jiho sat in the medical bay. A robot arm was checking his ribs while cold gel covered his bruises. The door opened and Mira Choi walked in. She was another human cadet, one of only 5 in the entire academy. "You should have stayed down," Mira said. She pulled up a chair and sat next to him. "Dex was just showing off. You did not need to prove anything." "I had to try," Jiho said. "Why? Everyone knows Kralix are stronger than us." "That is just biology. It does not mean we are worse warriors." Jiho looked at her. Mira had been his friend since childhood back on Earth. They had trained together, grown up together. She knew him better than anyone. "They think we are weak," he said. "All of them. They think humans do not belong here. So what? Let them think that." "I cannot," Jiho said. "Not yet." Mira studied his face for a moment. Then she smiled a little. "You are planning something," Jiho did not answer. He just looked at the wall. The next day, all the cadets gathered in the Great Hall for their military history class. The room was massive, with a high ceiling and walls covered in screens. On the main display, holographic images showed famous warriors from different species. There was General Kreth of the Kralix, who had defeated an entire robot army with just 100 soldiers. There was Mindweaver Essa of the Etherians, who had stopped a war by speaking to both sides at once through telepathy. There was Hunter Prime Vax of the Chitrix, who had tracked and destroyed a space pirate fleet across 3 star systems. Each species had dozens of heroes, warriors who had done impossible things. The students looked at the images with respect and wonder. Then the display showed Earth's section. It was almost empty. Just one file, and it was locked with a red symbol that said classified. Dex saw it and laughed. "Look at that. The humans have one warrior, just one, and no one can even see who it is." He turned to look at Jiho. "Maybe it is you, little human. Are you Earth's greatest warrior?" The other students laughed. Even some of the friendlier aliens chuckled. It was funny to them. The idea that Jiho, who could barely survive one fight with Dex, could be a legendary warrior. Commander Vorin stood at the front of the class. He did not laugh, but he did not defend Jiho either. "Humanity joined the Galactic Council only 30 years ago," he said. "They came through diplomacy, not through combat. Unlike every other species here, humans have never faced a true test. They have never proven themselves in battle. That is not fair," Mira said. She stood up from her seat. "Just because we did not fight does not mean we cannot fight. Can you prove that, Cadet Choi?" Commander Vorin asked. His voice was not mean, but it was serious. "Can any human here prove that your species belongs in this academy?" The room went quiet. All eyes turned to the human cadets. There were 5 of them in a class of 200. 5 small figures among giants and creatures with armor and claws and abilities that seemed like magic. Mira looked like she wanted to say more, but she sat down. What could she say? They had no proof. No famous battles. No legendary heroes that anyone could see. Jiho raised his hand slowly. "Yes, Cadet Kang?" Commander Vorin said. "Sir, may I approach the display?" The commander looked confused but nodded. Jiho stood up and walked to the front of the room. His body still hurt from yesterday. He moved slowly, carefully. When he reached the holographic display, he stood in front of the Earth section. The classified file glowed red. Jiho looked at it for a long moment. Then he turned to face the class. His face was calm. No anger, no fear. Just quiet confidence. He pointed at the file. "That is me. he said simply. For a moment, no one moved. Then Dex started laughing again. Soon, half the class was laughing. The idea was too ridiculous. This small, bruised human who had lost a fight in seconds was claiming to be a legendary warrior? But Commander Voran was not laughing. He stared at Jiho with a strange look on his face. Confusion, curiosity, and maybe something else. Something that looked almost like worry. "Sit down, Cadet Kang," the commander said quietly. Jiho nodded and walked back to his seat. The laughter continued for a while. But as he sat down, he caught Mira looking at him. She knew him too well. She could see the truth in his eyes. Whatever was in that file, Jiho knew about it. And it was not a joke. In the back of the room, another figure watched carefully. HFY War was an Etherian, a being made of energy who took a blue, glowing shape that looked almost human. She was known for being curious about everything. Right now, she was very curious about Jiho Kang. That night, she made a decision. She would find out what was in that classified file. She would learn the truth about humans. And something told her that when she did, everything would change.